In the Middle East, we've spent $4 trillion, and we're far worse than the first gunshot that was fired.
Yes, we do need to go after Baghdadi, and just like we went after bin Laden.
Trump prioritizes the war against ISIS over civil war in Syria. In the second presidential debate, he said he disagreed with his running mate's support for the use of military force against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and has long criticized U.S. efforts to arm rebels.
I love the fact that Russia is hitting ISIS, and as far as I'm concerned, they've got to continue to hit ISIS.
But you know what Russia is doing in Syria? Russia is hitting the groups that we're backing.
Sure. And why are we backing the group? We don't even know who those people are. They're probably worse than Assad. I mean, Assad's no baby. He's not good. But who are the people that we're backing?
Clinton has called for a no-fly zone and safe zones in Syria. In the second presidential debate, she said the U.S. needs leverage with the Russians to bring them to the negotiating table.
Wherever we can cooperate with Russia, that's fine. And I did as Secretary of State. That's how we got a treaty reducing nuclear weapons. It's how we got the sanctions on Iran that put a lid on the Iranian nuclear program without firing a single shot. So I would go to the negotiating table with more leverage than we have now. But I do support the effort to investigate for crimes, war crimes committed by the Syrians and the Russians and try to hold them accountable.
Trump denies ever expressing support for the war in Iraq and says the 2003 invasion under then President George W. Bush was a mistake.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
He has also been critical of efforts to retake Mosul, an ISIS stronghold in Iraq.
But you know who the big winner in Mosul is going to be after we eventually get it? And the only reason they did it is because she's running for the office of president. And they want to look tough. They want to look good. But the leaders that we wanted to get are all gone because they're smart. They say, what do we need this for? So Mosul is going to be a wonderful thing, and Iran should write us a letter of thank you.
Clinton has rejected the notion of U.S. boots on the ground in Iraq. She advocates instead for the U.S. to train and advise the Iraqi army.
We have to support the Arab and Kurdish fighters on the ground who are actually doing the fighting. I agree with the president. I've said myself, we will not send American combat troops back to either Syria or Iraq. That is off the table. But we do have special forces. We do have trainers. We do have military personnel who are helping with the airstrikes that the United States is leading so that we can try to take out ISIS infrastructure, take out their leadership.
Trump often refers to his plans to defeat ISIS as a secret. He falsely accused U.S. President Barack Obama and Clinton of being the founders of ISIS.
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS. I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton.
In a speech in August, he offered details on how he plans to defeat the group and has also said he would send 30,000 U.S. ground troops to the region.
My administration will aggressively pursue joint and coalition military operations to crush and destroy ISIS, international cooperation to cut off their funding, expanded intelligence sharing, and cyber warfare to disrupt and disable their propaganda and recruiting.
In concert with her statements on Syria and Iraq, Clinton's plan for defeating ISIS includes working with coalition forces in the region to impose no-fly zones and create safe areas.
Over the past year, I've laid out my plans for defeating ISIS. We need to take out their strongholds in Iraq and Syria by intensifying the air campaign and stepping up our support for Arab and Kurdish forces on the ground. We need to keep pursuing diplomacy to end Syria's civil war and close Iraq's sectarian divide because those conflicts are keeping ISIS alive. We need to lash up with our allies and ensure our intelligence services are working hand in hand to dismantle the global network that supplies money, arms, propaganda, and fighters to the terrorists. And we need to win the battle in cyberspace.
Trump is a vocal critic of the Iran deal secured by the Obama administration and views Iran as a threat to the region. It was one of the first issues he addressed in his APAC speech in March.
My number one priority is to dismantle the disastrous deal with Iran. This deal is catastrophic for America, for Israel, and for the whole of the Middle East.
Clinton supports the Iran deal, but has said that the U.S. must ensure that Iran continues to comply with its conditions.
And As I've said many times before, our approach must be distrust and verify. The world must understand that the United States will act decisively if necessary, including with military action to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. In particular, Israel's security is non-negotiable. They're our closest ally in the region, and we have a moral obligation to defend them.
Trump has said he seeks to deepen ties with Egypt in order to fight terrorism, that he respects Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as a strong man and leader, and considers him a friend.
He's a fantastic guy. He took control of Egypt. He's gotten the terrorists out and, wiped them out.
Clinton also seeks to cooperate with Egypt on counterterrorism, but has urged Sisi to respect the rule of law and human rights.
We saw what happened in Egypt. I cautioned about a quick overthrow of Mubarak, and we now are back with basically an army dictatorship.